In 36 hours, Emily's financial life changed forever. It wasn't luck. It wasn't coincidence. It was the code that Kathryn Kuhlman uncovered in the forgotten pages of the Bible, the same code Isaac used to multiply his wealth during a devastating famine. You're about to discover the secret that transformed paupers into millionaires. But I need to warn you before we continue. This knowledge comes with responsibility, and not everyone is prepared for what will happen when they apply it correctly. Emily was at rock bottom. Overdrawn account, blocked cards, eviction notice next week. It was October 2022. Inflation was consuming what little remained of her salary. She cried every night, wondering where she had gone wrong. Then a friend showed her an old video of Kathryn Kuhlman. In that 1973 video, Kathryn revealed something she'd discovered studying Isaac's life, something she called supernatural multiplication in barren soil. But why Isaac? What made him so special? The answer will surprise you. Isaac lived through the worst famine that region had ever seen. All the farmers lost everything. Crops died. Wells dried up. It was the equivalent of a devastating economic crisis. Any normal person would have fled, sought more fertile lands. Isaac did the opposite. He planted. In the midst of the drought, he planted. And here's the detail that 99% of people miss. Isaac didn't plant anything, anywhere, anyhow. He followed a specific pattern, a code. And that code is written with mathematical precision in the book of Genesis. Kathryn Kuhlman spent 3 years studying every word of that chapter. She discovered that Isaac wasn't just planting seeds. He was applying a multiplication formula that works regardless of external circumstances. Emily applied this formula exactly as Kathryn had taught. In 36 hours, she received a job offer that tripled her salary. Coincidence? Not when you understand the code. Let me explain how it works. Isaac's code has 3 fundamental pillars. First pillar, strategic positioning. Isaac didn't plant where everyone else planted. He chose the land that seemed most impossible. Why? Because where there is the greatest resistance, there is the greatest potential for breakthrough. In the modern financial world, this means investing energy where others have given up. It means seeing opportunity where others see crisis. Emily did this when she decided to use her last savings for an online course, while everyone around her said it was crazy to spend money she didn't have. Second pillar, sacred timing. Isaac planted at the exact moment. Not before, not after. There is a divine timing for every financial action. And this timing is not based on market analysis or economic predictions. It's based on obedience to a higher pattern. Kathryn discovered that this timing always involves periods of exactly 36 hours. Why 36? It's a multiple of 9, the number of spiritual completeness. It's also the sum of 1 plus 2 plus 3, up to the number 8. It's divine mathematics. Emily began her journey on a Thursday, at 6 in the evening. Exactly 36 hours later, Saturday at 6 in the morning, she received the call that changed everything. It wasn't chance. It was the code working. Third pillar, generative sacrifice. Isaac didn't just plant. He sacrificed something valuable before planting. He gave his best seeds, not the leftovers. In the modern world, this means investing first in what will generate a return, even when it seems impossible. Emily did this when she decided to pay her tithes, even though she was in debt. Everyone thought she had gone mad. How can someone without money give money? But she understood that Isaac's code demands faith in action, not just faith in thought. And then something happened that she didn't even expect. The company that hired her not only offered a salary 3 times higher, it also offered a hiring bonus that covered all her debts. In 1 week, Emily went from utter despair to a stability she hadn't known for years. But the story doesn't end there. Because Isaac's code isn't just about one victory. It's about establishing a pattern of continuous multiplication. Stop for a moment. Take a deep breath. Do you feel it? That feeling that something is changing inside you as you listen to this story? This isn't imagination. It's the code starting to work in your mind. It's the same feeling Emily described. The same one Kathryn Kuhlman documented in dozens of cases. Now let me tell you about David. David was a university professor. He earned a good salary, but he lived frugally. He learned about Isaac's code through Emily. He decided to apply it to his academic career. David identified that all the professors in his field followed the same pattern. They published articles in traditional journals, participated in the same conferences, competed for the same grants. It was an endless competition for limited resources. He applied the first pillar, strategic positioning. Instead of competing in the saturated space, he created his own niche. He combined his expertise in history with digital marketing. It seemed crazy to his colleagues, but David understood that Isaac prospered precisely because he chose the path that no one else wanted. He applied the second pillar, sacred timing. He launched his first online course on a Friday at 9 in the morning. 36 hours later, Sunday at 9 at night, he had already sold more than his monthly salary. The timing wasn't based on marketing strategy. It was based on obedience to the pattern. He applied the third pillar, generative sacrifice. He invested $5,000 he didn't have in professional recording equipment. He took out a loan for it. Everyone said it was insane. But the code requires that you give your best first, not the leftovers. 6 months later, David was earning more with his online courses than in 15 years of academic career. He resigned from the university. Today, he works from home, has complete freedom of hours, and impacts thousands of people around the world. But I want to show you something even deeper about Isaac's code, something Kathryn Kuhlman called the cascading effect. The code doesn't just work once. It establishes a pattern of multiplication that repeats itself. Isaac didn't just have one abundant harvest. The Bible says he prospered continuously, becoming extremely wealthy in a land of famine. Emily experienced this. After the first multiplication, she applied the code again. She started her own business. 6 months later, she was earning more in 1 month than she earned in a year at her old job. David, too. After the success with online courses, he applied the code to investments. Result? He multiplied his assets tenfold in 2 years. But here's what you need to understand. Isaac's code isn't magic. It's principle. It's a spiritual law, as real as gravity. And like any law, it works whether you believe in it or not. But it works better when you understand and consciously cooperate. The question is, are you willing to step outside the crowd? Are you willing to plant where others won't plant? Are you willing to sacrifice what you have to multiply, what you could have? Because the code is there, available to anyone, but not everyone will apply it. Most will listen, find it interesting, even agree, but they won't act. And without action, the code remains just theory. You are not like most people. If you were, you wouldn't be here, listening to this. Something inside you recognizes the truth of what's being revealed. Something inside you knows it's time to break free from limiting patterns and embrace a new financial reality. But before I show you exactly how to apply the code to your specific situation, I need to tell you about a fatal mistake that can destroy everything. A mistake Emily almost made. A mistake David narrowly avoided. A mistake that, if you make it, can turn a blessing into a curse. Kathryn Kuhlman constantly warned about this in her teachings. She said that Isaac's code comes with a sacred responsibility, and that those who use it for selfish accumulation lose everything faster than they gained it. This happened to Marcus. He learned about the code through a friend of David's. He perfectly applied the 3 pillars. In 2 months, he multiplied his initial investment 20-fold. 20 times. It seemed like perfect success. But Marcus made the fatal mistake. He used all the multiplication for himself. He bought expensive cars, designer clothes, a luxury apartment. He didn't help anyone. He didn't invest in a higher purpose. He didn't honor the responsibility that comes with the code. In 6 months, he had lost everything. More than that, he was worse off than before he knew the code, as if an invisible force had taken not only what he had gained, but also what he already had. Do you know why this happens? Because Isaac's code isn't just about financial multiplication. It's about the multiplication of impact. Isaac used his prosperity to bless nations. Emily uses part of her income to help families in need. David created scholarships for underprivileged students. The code works when you understand that you are a channel, not a final destination. But let me show you something that will completely change your perspective on money. Something Kathryn discovered by studying not only the life of Isaac, but also the mathematical patterns behind the miracles of multiplication. There's a hidden numerical sequence in every supernatural multiplication described in the Bible. 5 loaves and 2 fish fed 5,000 people. The widow of Zarephath had oil and flour that never ran out. The oil of the indebted widow multiplied until it filled all the borrowed vessels. In each case, there's a specific mathematical pattern, and this pattern always involves cycles of 36 hours. Kathryn spent 10 years documenting this. She discovered that supernatural multiplication follows precise laws, like an exact spiritual science. It's not random. It's not based on luck or personal merit. It's based on alignment with universal principles. And here's what strikes me most. These principles work regardless of religious belief. David is agnostic. Emily was a nominal Catholic. Marcus called himself an atheist. The code worked for everyone because it's not about religion. It's about cosmic laws that govern reality. Think of a seed. The seed doesn't need to understand botany to germinate. It just needs to be in the right environment, with the right conditions. Isaac's code creates the right environment for financial multiplication. But what exactly is that environment? How do you create the ideal conditions in your life? First, scarcity mindset versus abundance mindset. Most people operate on a scarcity mindset. They think there's a limited amount of money in the world, that for someone to gain, another must lose. That wealth is a privilege for a select few. Isaac thought differently. In a land of famine, when everyone was competing for scarce resources, he created abundance from nothing. How? Because he understood that abundance doesn't come from circumstances. It comes from alignment with higher laws. Emily had to break her scarcity mindset. For years, she repeated phrases like, "I don't have money. It's too expensive. I can't afford it." These phrases create a reality of limitation. They are decrees of poverty. When she applied the code, Emily changed her vocabulary. Instead of, "I don't have money," she started saying, "How can I create this amount?" Instead of, "It's too expensive," she said, "How can I add enough value to deserve this?" Instead of, "I can't," she asked, "How can I?" It seems simple, but words create realities. Every word you speak is a seed planted in the field of your future experience. Second, anticipatory gratitude versus constant complaint. Isaac thanked for the harvest before planting. He thanked for the multiplication before it happened. He thanked for abundance in the midst of apparent scarcity. Anticipatory gratitude is one of the most powerful tools of the code. You thank for what you don't yet see, but know is coming. This aligns your vibration with the frequency of abundance. Emily practiced this religiously. Every day she thanked for the clients she didn't yet know, for the salary she hadn't yet received, for the stability she hadn't yet experienced. It seemed crazy at first, but in a few weeks she felt a profound energetic shift. Third, inspired action versus desperate action. There's a crucial difference between inspired action and desperate action. Desperate action comes from fear, anxiety, haste, Inspired action comes from an inner certainty, a deep knowing. Isaac acted with inspiration, not desperation. He planted because he knew it was the right time, not because he was desperate for results. Inspired action always produces superior results. How do you identify inspired action? It comes with inner peace. Even when the action seems risky to others, you feel an inexplicable certainty. It's as if something greater is guiding your steps. David experienced this when he decided to leave university. Logically, it was a risky decision, but energetically, he felt it was the right time. Inner peace confirmed that he was aligned with the code. Fourth, natural cycles versus artificial haste. Nature operates in cycles: planting, growing, harvesting, resting. Each phase has its own appropriate timing. Trying to artificially accelerate breaks the natural flow. Isaac's code respects these cycles. The 36 hours aren't just a mystical number. They represent a complete energy cycle. Energetic planting, incubation, manifestation. Many people fail because they want to skip steps. They want to plant today and harvest tomorrow. The code demands sacred patience. You plant with faith, nurture with expectation, and harvest at the perfect timing. Emily learned this the hard way. In her first attempt, she became anxious after 24 hours without visible results. She started to doubt, to question herself. This energy of doubt almost sabotaged the entire process. It was only when she relaxed and trusted in the timing that the results appeared, exactly 36 hours after the initial planting. Fifth, higher purpose versus personal greed. This is perhaps the most important aspect of the code. Isaac didn't prosper only for himself. His prosperity became a blessing for entire nations. He became a channel of abundance. Isaac's code fully activates only when you connect your personal prosperity with a higher purpose, when you understand that you are being prospered to prosper others. Emily discovered this instinctively. As soon as her situation improved, she began helping other people struggling financially, not out of obligation, but out of inner impulse. And the more she helped, the more she prospered. David did the same. He created free content to teach other teachers how to diversify their income. The more value he added to the lives of others, the more value returned to his own life. It's a universal law. You receive in the same measure that you give, but it's not a commercial transaction. It's an energetic flow. The more you allow abundance to flow through you, the more abundance you attract. Now, let me tell you something that may sound controversial, but that Kathryn Kuhlman discovered through decades of observation. Isaac's code doesn't work equally for all people, not because some are more deserving than others, but because some are more aligned with the universal principles that activate the code. There are energetic blockages that prevent multiplication, past financial traumas, limiting beliefs inherited from the family, unconscious self-sabotaging patterns. Emily had a deep blockage related to money. Her father had lost everything in an unsuccessful speculation when she was a child. The family went through terrible hardships. Unconsciously, Emily associated prosperity with future loss. This blockage prevented the code from working in the first attempts. It was only when she did deep emotional healing work that she was able to apply the principles with complete success. David also had blockages. As a university professor, he had internalized the belief that making money was somehow less noble than serving academia. This belief limited his ability to prosper. The work of removing blockages is not optional. It's a prerequisite for the effective application of the code. And this brings us to the most practical aspect of everything we've talked about so far. How do you identify your blockages? How do you remove them? How do you prepare your energetic field to receive multiplication? Kathryn Kuhlman developed a specific method for this. She called it financial archaeology. It's a process of excavating the layers of conditioning that hinder your prosperity. First step, identify your earliest memories related to money. Emily remembered when she was 8 years old and saw her father cry after losing his job. At that moment, her child's brain created the association: money equals pain. David remembered when his mother constantly said that money doesn't bring happiness and that rich people are bad people. These phrases, repeated for years, created an unconscious blockage against prosperity. Second step, observe your current behavioral patterns. Emily realized that whenever she received extra money, she immediately found an emergency to spend it. It was as if she couldn't maintain abundance for long. David noticed that he charged low prices for his services, always justifying that he didn't want to exploit anyone. In reality, he was sabotaging his own prosperity. Third step, identify the inner voices that limit your prosperity. Emily constantly heard an inner voice saying, "You don't deserve this." Whenever something good happened financially, David heard, "Money corrupts," whenever he considered raising his prices or seeking greater prosperity. These voices are not yours. They are echoes of past conditioning, and they can be reprogrammed. Fourth step, apply what Kathryn called sacred reversal. For each limiting belief, create an opposite abundance statement. Emily changed, "I don't deserve prosperity," to "I am a worthy channel of abundance." David transformed "money corrupts" into "I use prosperity to bless lives." But here's the secret that few know. It's not enough to just say these statements. You need to feel them. You need to vibrate at the frequency of the words you pronounce. And how do you do that? Through what Kathryn discovered to be the most powerful technique for energetic reprogramming: embodied gratitude. Embodied gratitude is not just mentally thanking. It's physically feeling the energy of gratitude running through your body. It's allowing the emotion of thankfulness to become a complete bodily experience. Emily practiced this every day. For 15 minutes, she put her hand on her heart and thanked with her whole being for the abundance that was coming. She didn't just think about gratitude. She became gratitude. In 2 weeks, Emily noticed profound changes. Opportunities began to appear. People started offering unexpected help. It was as if the universe was responding to the new frequency she was emitting. David did the same. In a month, he received 3 invitations for consultancies that paid 10 times more than his previous jobs. But let me tell you about something even more extraordinary that happened. When Emily achieved complete financial stability, something unexpected occurred. She began to have vivid dreams with numbers. Specific number sequences appeared repeatedly. At first, she ignored them, but the dreams became more intense. One night, she clearly dreamed of the number 1,896. She woke up with this sequence engraved in her mind. That same day, she received a freelance job offer. The amount offered? Exactly $1,896. Emily started paying attention. The dreams continued. Always specific numbers. And always, the next day, these numbers appeared in her reality in a significant way. She told David about it. He chuckled, thinking it was a coincidence. But when he started applying the code more deeply, he experienced something similar. Not dreams, but sudden intuitions about timing and values. This isn't fantasy. It's what happens when you align completely with the universal principles of abundance. You develop what Kathryn Kuhlman called expanded financial perception. It's as if a higher intelligence begins to guide your financial steps. You know when to invest, when to wait, when to act. It's not rational analysis. It's inner knowing. Marcus also experienced this before sabotaging everything with greed. He said he started to feel the right opportunities. It was a physical sensation, like a tingling in his chest when he was in the presence of a sound financial decision. This happens because Isaac's code isn't just a mental technique. It's an alignment with cosmic laws that operate beyond ordinary human comprehension. And here we arrive at the deepest aspect of everything we've discussed. Isaac's code is In fact, a portal to a higher dimension of existence. A dimension where scarcity doesn't exist, where abundance is the natural state. Isaac wasn't just planting in physical soil. He was planting in a spiritual dimension, where the laws of multiplication are different. And this dimension is available to anyone who understands how to access it. But how do you access this dimension? How do you plant in the spiritual field of abundance? Through what Kathryn Kuhlman discovered to be the most secret aspect of the code, the quantum offering. Quantum offering isn't giving money to charity, although that's important. It's offering your energy, your intention, your own life to a purpose greater than yourself. Isaac did this when he decided to remain in the land of famine instead of fleeing to fertile lands. He offered his personal safety for a higher purpose, and the universe responded with supernatural multiplication. Emily did this when she decided to help other people, even before she had total stability. She offered her energy to serve others, even when she was still in the process of financial healing. David offered his knowledge for free through online content before monetizing. He planted value without expecting immediate returns. The quantum offering creates what Kathryn Kuhlman called a magnetic field of abundance around your life. You become a magnet for opportunities, resources, and people who can help on your journey. But be careful. The quantum offering cannot be manipulative. It cannot be a calculated investment expecting a specific return. It needs to be genuine. It needs to come from a place of true love, not selfish strategy. The universe perfectly distinguishes between genuine offering and spiritual manipulation. Marcus tried to hack the system by giving money to charity just to receive more back. It didn't work. In fact, it accelerated his downfall. The genuine offering comes from inner abundance, not scarcity seeking a return. It comes from a grateful heart, not a calculating mind. When you offer genuinely, something extraordinary happens. You become part of a cosmic network of abundance. Resources begin to flow in your direction in ways that defy all human logic. Emily experienced this dramatically. After a year of genuine offerings, she received an unexpected inheritance from a distant aunt who had silently observed her transformation. The amount? Enough to buy her dream home without a loan. David received an invitation to write a book with a 6-figure advance. The invitation came from a publisher who had followed his free online content and was impressed by his authenticity. This isn't luck. It's the law of cosmic reciprocity at work. When you become a channel of abundance for others, the universe conspires to make you prosper even more. But now we arrive at the crucial point, the moment when I need to tell you something that can completely change your life. Something that Kathryn Kuhlman revealed only in her final years, to a very select circle of people. There is an aspect of Isaac's code that she kept secret for decades. Not out of selfishness, but out of responsibility, because this aspect is so powerful that it can be dangerous if misused. She called it the activation of the 13th month. Isaac didn't just plant in a time of famine. He planted specifically in the 13th month of a specific lunar cycle, a month that doesn't exist in the common calendar, but that exists in spiritual time. The 13th month is a temporal portal that opens only once a year. During this period, the laws of multiplication operate exponentially. What would normally take years to manifest happens in weeks. Kathryn Kuhlman discovered how to calculate this period with precision, and the people who applied the code during the activations of the 13th month experienced multiplications that defy all understanding. Emily applied the code during this period in 2023. In 3 weeks, she multiplied her net worth 30 times. 30 times. David did the same. He launched a digital product during the activation and earned in 2 weeks what he had planned for the entire year. But Marcus also tried to use this knowledge, and that's exactly what caused his total ruin, because the activation of the 13th month amplifies everything. If you are aligned with a higher purpose, it amplifies abundance. If you're aligned only with greed, it amplifies destruction. The responsibility of using this knowledge is immense. It's like having access to a nuclear power plant. It can illuminate an entire city or destroy everything around it. That's why Kathryn Kuhlman was so careful in revealing this aspect. That's why she always emphasized that Isaac's code is not a technique to get rich quickly. It's a system to become a responsible channel of abundance in the world. And now, you have access to this knowledge. The question is, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to use it to accumulate wealth only for yourself? Or are you going to use it to become a force of positive transformation in the world? Because Isaac's code works fully only when your personal prosperity is connected with a higher purpose of serving humanity. Isaac used his multiplication to bless nations. Emily uses her abundance to support organizations that help families in need. David created a foundation that offers free education to underprivileged communities. The code is not an end. It's a means. A means for you to become who you truly came to be in this world. A means for you to fulfill your higher purpose with an abundance of resources. And here's something that might be even more important than all financial multiplication. When you apply the code correctly, you don't just multiply money. You multiply meaning. Your life gains purpose. Your days gain direction. You wake up knowing you're contributing to something bigger than your personal problems. Emily told me the money was just the beginning. What really changed was the sense of mission she developed. Today, she doesn't just work to pay bills. She works to make a difference. David shared something similar. The financial prosperity was wonderful, but the fulfillment of positively impacting thousands of lives through his work was transformative. This is true wealth. Not just having money, but having meaning. Not just accumulating resources, but distributing value. Not just prospering, but helping others prosper too. And this brings us to the end of this journey, but not an ordinary end. An end that is, in fact, a new beginning. Because now you know the code. You have the tools. You understand the principles. The only thing left is to decide. Will you apply this knowledge? Will you take the first step, even if it seems impossible? Will you plant your seeds in barren soil, trusting in supernatural multiplication? Or will you do like most? Find it interesting, intellectually agree, but change nothing in your life? The choice is yours. But remember, time doesn't stop. Life doesn't wait. Opportunities aren't available forever. Isaac planted when everyone thought it was crazy. Emily invested when everyone said it was impossible. David left security when everyone guaranteed it was risky. And they all experienced multiplication that transcended their wildest expectations. Now it's your turn, your moment, your opportunity to escape financial mediocrity and enter a dimension of abundance you can't even imagine exists. Isaac's code is revealed. The laws are explained. The examples are given. The only thing that can prevent your multiplication now is your own decision not to act. But something tells me you're not the type of person who wastes opportunities like that. Something tells me you came this far because you're ready for transformation. So start today. Start now. Identify where you'll plant. Calculate your sacred timing. Make your generative sacrifice. And prepare to witness firsthand the supernatural power of multiplication that transformed the lives of Isaac, Emily, David, and is about to transform yours, because the code doesn't fail. The laws don't change. The multiplication is guaranteed when the principles are applied correctly. The only variable in the equation is you, and I'm absolutely certain you're ready. Isaac's code awaits its activation, and your new financial reality awaits your courage to begin.